So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We're back again. First of two uploads. Sorry, this one's a little bit late, actually. I overrun on the Football Terrace. Make sure you go and check that out. Big up to everybody who come and check that out. Make sure you also check out the show that I did with Eunice, with Goonie, and with Northside as well earlier on this afternoon here. If you haven't checked that out, go and check it out. A really good show. And like I said, this is the first of two transfer video uploads. The next one will be at 10 o'clock UK time. We're going to be talking about Ollie Watkins in that one. My specialist subject, anyone who watches this channel knows I rate Ollie Watkins, and he has been linked to Arsenal. So we'll break that down a little bit later on tonight. And make sure you are sticking a thumbs up on this video if you haven't already. And we're going to talk about Dusan Vlahovic, the flavour of the month, the hipster's choice. Our fans love a hipster. They love an exotic name player that they've never watched. And all of the super fans, all of the top gooners, all of a sudden become experts on the player. It's kind of funny, really, isn't it? The latest reports about Vlahovic, Dusan Vlahovic, are that we are making a new bid for him, which includes Lucas Torreira, of all people, £45 million plus Lucas Torreira. Now, I want to break this down, right? I just want to look at this here because I've seen this story do the rounds on and off for about, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months perhaps. And all I keep seeing is he doesn't want to come to Arsenal. He wants to go to another club. Arsenal's not his club. He doesn't want to play for us. He sees a challenge bigger than Arsenal. Blah, blah, blah. 45.8 million plus Lucas Torreira for Fiorentina striker Dusan Vlahovic. According to reports, Gazzetta dello Sport have said that Arsenal have bid this. I don't know how credible they are. Reports claim that the overall value is 70 million euros, and Arsenal are hopeful that they will be able to offer enough to convince them to sell in the January window. Torreira is currently on loan at Fiorentina, and they're keen on making that a permanent move, which, listen, let's be real, that could be the deal maker. The fact that Lucas Torreira is at the football club already, he's on loan there. We ain't getting him back. He ain't coming back to the Arsenal. And that could be a little make weight there in the deal for Dusan Vlahovic. Listen, we need a striker. I think that's pretty obvious. We need a striker. He then continues, when asked if he wants to remain at Fiorentina, Vlahovic told Politica outlet, I have stated for several times so far, a beautiful football story is being made here in Florence. We have a good team, great football players, great support from the fans, and they deserve respect. Only God knows what will happen in my next period. My wish is to bring Fiorentina into Europe because that has not been a thing that the club have done in a long time. I don't think that can happen overnight. We will see. And this is the thing, right? He's obviously saying the right things. He's obviously being challenged and pressed on it. But the fact and reality is Fiorentina are not paying him what Arsenal can pay him. Fiorentina are not paying him what Tottenham can pay him, or Man City can pay him, or Man United, or any other team outside of the Serie A. With all due respect, the Premier League's where the money's at. Spain, maybe, with Real Madrid, not so much Barcelona these days. But I just don't think this guy's coming to Arsenal. I don't. And it's not because he's not a good player, because from what I've seen, he looks all right. But I'll say this again for all the cheap seats at the back. Just because you are slapping goals in Serie A does not mean you are going to come to the Premier League and slap goals. It doesn't necessarily convert. We've seen it with so many different players over the years. It's not always the case. Now, listen, this guy is very good. His movement's amazing. He knows where the back of the net is this season. He's scored 16 league goals in 19 games, 2 assists. Last season, 21 goals, 3 assists in 37. And he is only 21. At the end of this month, he'll be 22. It's a lot of money for a maybe. I would much rather go down the route of somebody who's in the Premier League, like Ollie Watkins, the video I'll be dropping at 10 o'clock, because it's a lot of money to pay for a player from overseas. And anyone who says, oh, Lee, you don't know what you're talking about, well, Nico Pepe sits on the bench every week and he was slapping it in France. And we paid 70 odd million quid for him as well. So I just see too many players that come from overseas. It's not a diss at their leagues or anything like that. They can only compete against who they're competing against. But I just see too many players come from these other leagues that just don't live up to the hype. I've seen one of the best players in in La Liga, Falcao, come to the Premier League and flop. I see Shevchenko flop, Forlan flop. You know, we've seen some big players flop. Fernando Torres at Chelsea from Liverpool flop. It just sometimes ain't the right fit. That's not to say this guy will flop. You know, from what I've seen, he looks all right, but it's a lot of money, man. It's not my money. I couldn't care less. But at the end of the day, why not go and get somebody who's tried and tested in the Premier League, who's maybe a little bit older, but is a little bit more street savvy, street smart within the league that we're going to play in? Because that is the biggest factor for me. You're going to come to a new league, a new country, new language, and you've got to adapt to a new city, new language, new football club, new surroundings, different weather, temperature, and all of that. And sometimes it just don't happen, does it? Why not go and get somebody in the Premier League that's doing it already, scoring goals in the league? You know what they can do in the Premier League because you see them week in, week out. They only have to move halfway down the country, maybe not even that, 100 miles maybe, and they could still potentially stay where they're living and just commute every day. So it's a lot easier fit, even though it's still a risk. It's a less of a risk. And I just think, like, listen, Lucas Torreira is going to leave the football club at the end of this season officially. Fiorentina may be that destination. He's doing his loan there now. I don't see this deal going through. I genuinely do not see this Dusan Vlahovic coming to us. If he's as good as all these super fans and hipsters that have never watched him play keep telling me he is, then he ain't coming to Arsenal, is he? He'll be going to Man City. It's as simple as that. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Am I chatting bollocks? I don't know. Leave it in the comment section. Have you watched him play? If so, what do you think of him? Because I'll be honest, I don't watch the Italian league. I only see clips of these people. So maybe it's my ignorance. Maybe he is a lot better than I'm giving him credit for. But at the same time, based off of previous experiences with players from overseas, striker-wise anyway, yeah, it's different if you're a midfielder or centre-back. It's slightly different. But if you're a striker, it's normally the striker or forward positions where they flop very easily in this country. And that's because the defences are a lot better. Hence why the league is a lot better. But leave it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on Dusan Vlahovic. Is he worth the money? Like I said, he's 22 at the end of this month. Three weeks from now, roughly, he's going to be 22. Is he worth the dough? Is he really worth 70 million euros? Is he worth chopping in Lucas Torreira and 55 mil? I don't know. You tell me. Make sure you stick a like on the video. Make sure you check out the other streams I've done today. Make sure you are back again at 10 p.m. tonight, UK time. And I'll be dropping the Ollie Watkins one. We're out of here, people. Arteta